from the 22nd all the way to the 31st, I was making a grand every day. So I made 7.3 in a week, but in those 10 days, I made it around 10 grand.
Let's go. All right, welcome back. So we've got Juan here, who has been on the team for, you said, a little over 3 months.
Yeah, around 3 months. Yeah.
A little over 3 months. Had an insane week last week. It is September 8th, 2025. So this is current. I'll let him talk about it, but a little over 7 grand in a week. I'm here knocking doors at Royalty Renewables, and I've also heard you have a really awesome story. So I want to shed light on that as well
Yeah.
and let people hear it. But yeah, man, let's talk about that week for a second. So how was your first month coming in? Did you start hot or did you start slow?
My first month, the first couple of days, I mean, like everything, when you start new, it wasn't the best. I was still getting the hang of it. But after my first week, I think my first week I made around 1,500, and then my second week, I that's when I went off, and in those 2 weeks I made about 8 grand.
So
Yeah,
even 1,500 in a week, calling it starting slow is not terrible. Like compared to
yeah.
where'd you come?
No,
What
I'm
was your
from Vegas, from Nevada.
what was your previous job? Were you working?
I was delivering packages. I was delivering packages. On average, I was working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I'd be lucky if I made 1,500 a week, and I made that
On a
not
slow
even
week.
working that much.
That's great. That's
Yeah,
great. And then you fired up and got 8K in 2 weeks, you said?
yeah.
Dude, that's awesome, man. I love stories like this because I want people to hear that it's real and that like regular people can do it. Like, I mean, would you consider yourself a phenom?
Well, yeah, I mean, 100%. I don't know if you know this. A lot of people on my team, they do know. I have a daughter. I have a 7 month old, and coming out here, the job I did have, the delivery company, I was doing pretty good there, but the company went out of business, so I lost the job, and I was doing DoorDash for like a month and a half, and I was lucky if I made $700 a week.
Wow.
That'd be a good week. So it was a tough month and a half, and I literally came out here with risking it all. I was like, you know what, either this is gonna work, it's gonna change my life, or I'm just gonna be doing the same thing I'm already doing. And I took the risk, and yeah, I mean, it paid off.
I love that. Tell me about that. So the mindset of, dude, F it. Worst case scenario, I'm back where I'm at. Tell me about
Yeah.
that decision and how that felt. Like, what were you feeling at that moment when you're
I
like, dude, is
mean,
this real? Like, am I gonna make
yeah.
it? And then you take the
Yeah,
leap.
it was difficult because, like I said, I lost a job, and I knew somebody who sold solar, that actually sold solar, like rooftop solar. And I remember, like, I knew him, and he had like a pretty good life. He was in sales. His wife was in real estate, and it was like they lived a pretty good life. So I was gonna go knock his door and see if they had a job. But it was around like 8, 9 o'clock, and I was like, damn, is it too early? So I just start searching on TikTok, like, when's a good time to door knock? And then next thing you know, I just find Cole's video, and from there, I just got hooked. And literally on a Monday, I submitted my video. Wednesday, I had the interview. Saturday, I flew out here
Let's
within that like
go.
time frame. So I took the leap. It was, scary for sure because, like I said, I had my daughter, and I mean, of course, everybody's gonna think, is this, too good to be true or whatever. But I took the leap, and I'm glad I took it.
Do
I'm
you
glad I
think
took
that
it.
mentality of being okay taking that leap helped, like, sort of is this the right mentality that created the monster that you are now of making that money? Like, do you think that led to it?
I mean, definitely. That's why there's only a certain amount of people in the company, and not everybody in the world is joining. Because it definitely does take a certain mindset to get into the company. Because I mean, it's something new. You're leaving the family, you're leaving your hometown from what you know, and you're living with a bunch of guys that you don't know. But honestly, it was probably one of the best decisions I could ever make in my life. Like, these past 2 months have probably been the best 2 months I've had in my life. Like,
Wow.
the most peace of mind. Like, it sucks that I'm away from my family. I'm away from my girl and my daughter. But like, the fact that I'm able to provide them peace and they don't have to worry about anything back home, that makes me feel better.
So because you're able to make this type of income and provide for them, it gave you a calmness, a peace, like a feeling of that you are doing the right thing. You know you're doing the right thing.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, I
Awesome.
always say this. I think it's more important the quality of a man than the quantity. I could be there
Mm,
all day, but if I'm not providing the way I have to provide for my family, what's the point of me being there? I'd rather be away, but be able to give them the most peace of mind as possible. So it
yeah.
makes me feel good for sure that I'm away, but I'm able to provide for them the best way I could.
Who do you think is the right, being in a house with people, you see teammates, who is
Yeah,
the right guy or girl? Who is the right person for
yeah.
royalty? Like, how do you describe them?
Well, that's the thing. You say teammates that I'm around, but honestly, the people that I'm living with, they've genuinely became my brothers. These past 3 months, I've built more relationships with other men around my age than I have ever in my life. I'm the only boy like in the family. I'm the only man in the family, so I never really had brothers growing up. So me growing up, not having anything, now having brothers that surround me and motivate each other, it's a good feeling. But for the people that I would say is a good fit for royalty, I mean, like I said, it's not for everybody for sure, but you definitely have to have that mindset of you know it's not going to be easy, and you know it's going to be, a bit uncomfortable, but you have to be okay with it if you want something, better results from what you have in there at the moment.
Love that. Love that. Okay, let's talk about your week. So just explain the situation. What happened last week? Give me the insight.
So I had to go back home for, so you know how the paying period works, right? From the 15th to the 31st or whatever, that's one check. So I was gone for the beginning of the paying period, so I didn't get here till like the 22nd. So from the 22nd, I mean, I don't know if you've experienced this, but like, when you take a little break, those first couple of days back is a little, you're getting used
Take
to it
the
again,
rest in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So, but I still ended up having a good couple of days. Like it was gritty, but then at the end of the days, like I'm like, okay, I got a couple sales, and I remember this one time, my first day back, I had a gritty day. Didn't get a deal until maybe 6 o'clock, and it was a big one. And I made a grand from that one deal. So like it was worth it. And then from there, from the 22nd all the way to the 31st, I was making a grand every day. So I made 7.3 in a week, but in those 10 days, I made it around 10 grand.
Let's go.
Yeah,
So from door dashing, scraping by to making 10 grand in 10 days.
yeah.
How does that feel? Like, what is the confidence you feel now? Like, just from
It,
money.
it's a big difference. Not even with DoorDash, but Snapchat, when they like bring up those memories, and you have like the memories of a year ago, what happened today. A year ago from August, I was living in my car.
Wow.
So like while that was happening, I was like, dang, like I just made 10 grand in a week. I mean 7 grand in a week, and then 10 grand in 10 days. I was like, damn, and I seen a year ago I was living in my car. It's like it doesn't feel real for sure. It doesn't feel, but like it's a crazy feeling. It's hard to explain.
I love
It
it.
really is.
I love it. Okay, so what I want to do is, I told you before, I'm going to share my screen real quick, and I'm going to pull up the actual map. Hopefully, it's the exact one
Yeah.
that you went through, because what I want people to see is, let me make sure this shares, is one, that it's not easy, but two, that neighborhoods are like ATM machines, dude. Like it's this
Yeah.
beautiful thing of that you can go to an area that's completely blank and turn it into money, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we're talking about this 7 grand week. What I want to do is scroll in here and actually look at one of these neighborhoods and have you kind of walk me through it. So, like you mentioned that you went to the same neighborhood over and over. So tell me again, give me some context to that. Tell me a little bit more about like what that was like going in there and printing and then coming back and back and back.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of people, I mean, when I first started the company, we'd hit a lot more low to moderate income, like residential, and we would like this was pretty low to moderate income, but it wasn't like too much. And I was like, let me try residential because it's something I haven't tried before. So I started off like on the top of like of that neighborhood. But I remember that day specifically, it was a bit rough at first. Like it was RHS, a lot of people didn't qualify. I was getting a lot of no homes or whatever. And then at the end, once I started getting like to the end of the street, that's when like it just started rolling. It just started rolling. I just kept going and kept going. And I mean, people who knock doors, they know like once you get your first deal, like the next couple of deals, it just keeps rolling back and back and back. So it definitely felt good. And when I had a good day that day, I was like, well, let me keep trying to. It's a big neighborhood.
Heck yeah, and you just started printing, right? You were saying that you were
Yeah,
doing like $1,000 a day and you just kept
yeah,
going.
yeah. That's how I made the 7.3 in that week. I was just hitting that for a straight week.
Dude, I love that. I love that. So, and to reflect on the other side, like I think what I want people to see here is that there are a lot of no's. There's a lot of red, right? There's a lot of that you're not even getting the chance to pitch. And so it's not easy. It's not like one of those things that like immediately you get a result from. And it takes this
Exactly.
mental resilience. So tell me about your mental resilience. How have you changed as a person since you've been involved here?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Is like I've always done physical labor. Like I've always done physical work, whether that was DoorDash, construction. Like I've always done physical things, and this is like the first job that it's more mentally draining than physically draining. Like yeah,
Mm,
you're walking, yeah, you're in the heat, but the ability to like just speak to people all day and just even if you get a door slammed in your face and you get a negative reaction, to go to the next door and be like, and then just bring your energy back up for that next person is definitely more mentally draining. But once you get that one deal, it's all worth it. It's
yeah.
all worth it.
Yeah, dude, I'm looking at a street here, like three in a row, like cash, 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 and then like,
Yeah.
dude, I bet like that dopamine hit of grinding all day, and then boom,
Yeah.
$1,000, $200, $300,
Yeah.
like just
Yeah.
starts racking up in your head,
Exactly.
and you start getting real
Yeah.
excited. So let's talk about the training for a second. So I have one of our trainings here, but I want to hear a little bit about, and I'll share this just to see if any of this triggers kind of like anything you remember from your train days. But we talk a lot about how communication, like a lot of most of communication is like not even what you say, right? Obviously what you
Yeah.
say is important, but tell me about like the things that what helps you the most. Like, is it your tonality? Downtones are a big thing. Is it body language? Like, what do you think really contributes to you being successful?
Yeah, I mean, I would say something I've always had a pretty good understanding with is just like communication and being able to speak to people. I've always had the like when I'm talking to people at the door, I'm not yeah, I'm trying to sell them the, I'm trying to sell, but at the end of the day, it's more of a communication. I don't look at it as just I'm pitching and it's just straight business. I do try to put a little bit of personal in there, especially if I see if they have kids. We talk about kids or we talk about, just random stuff. So I make it feel like it's more of a I'm kind of the friend in that moment.
That's awesome. I think that's the right way to do it because I
Yeah,
don't know what your opinion on the product is, but the product seems to help a lot of people. It's not,
100%.
it doesn't take advantage of anybody. It's a free program. They can opt out
Yeah,
of it. Like there's no real downside to it. There's maybe a little bit of
not at all.
complication to sign up, but that's it,
Yes.
right? And that's our
Yeah.
responsibility to make it easy. And
Yeah.
so at the end of the day, you really are trying to help people. So it's not like we
Yeah.
teach, oh, here's how to like deal with this and deal with that and persuade
Mhm.
them this way. Like the good thing about persuasion is it can be used for good and evil, but in our case, it is for good. Like, hey, do you want a free discount? Awesome. Now my job is to make you trust me, to make sure
Yeah.
that what I say sounds credible. I can show you the things you need to see. And it sounds like what you're saying is I'm just being genuine.
Yeah, 100%. Because I mean, people could read it. If you're at the door, is just trying to just push it, push it, push it, and they're like, why is this guy? They feel it. They feel it. So it's definitely having that genuosity of just being a person. They're a
Yeah.
person. You're a person. Just be people. We're all human here.
Yeah. So, what would you say to the fellow who's on the fence, sees some of our content, is like, okay, similar to you. It's like, okay, I kind of get like what they're doing, but I don't know if I should, reach out. Like we're talking about the person who's a winner, the person who's around the wrong circle that needs to get around the right people, and they know that they see it, but
Yeah.
they've heard a lot of things. Like, what would you say to that person?
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to say it ourselves. I mean, the testimonials speak for themselves, but honestly, it's just taking that leap because if you believe in yourself and you have faith that you could do something great, I mean, why not? Like that's how I looked at it coming into the company. I'm like, at the end of the day, we're all human. We're all, nobody's better than anybody else. So I mean, if these people could do it, I know I could do it too. Especially if, with the work ethic that you already have. If you, especially that's why there's a lot of blue collars in this industry right now,
Hmm.
in royalty because they know how the hard work is. So if they know if they did that hard work already, they could do it again.
Yep.
It's like I said, it's just less physical, but it's more mental.
Love it. Love it, dude. Well, your story is inspirational. I'm glad you're having success. I
No, I
hope I get to
appreciate it.
see you in person. I don't know if you're planning on going to the quarterly, aiming
No,
for it.
100%.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
I'm already there.
Oh, let's go. You already
Yeah,
qualified?
I think I'm like $200 away. I'm
Oh,
I'm
let's
like
go, dude.
$200.
Cool. I'm excited to see you. Maybe
Yes,
we'll do another conversation there. But
100%.
I hope at the very least your story inspires the people that are on the fence about it because at the end of the day, all we're trying to do is provide a life-changing opportunity. I mean, there's like
Yeah,
whether this person joins or not doesn't really directly affect us at all, but
yeah,
it can completely change everything for them
no,
as you
100%.
experience. So I appreciate you sharing your story, brother.
No, I appreciate it, man. This has definitely changed my life in a way I couldn't even imagine.
I love
Honestly,
it.
it really
I love
has.
it. We'll
And
have
I
to
mean,
do
if
it.
not
Go ahead.
100%. I mean, if I take the leap with having a daughter back home, I mean, anybody else who doesn't have anything going back home could definitely take that leap.
Yep. Y'all heard it. No
100%.
excuses.
No
No
excuses,
excuses.
man. My friend.
Reward goes to risk. So
Thank you.
take the risk. Awesome,
Thank you,
man.
my friend.